Horror has become Hollywood's most bankable genre, both artistically and at the box office. 2026 horror movies will make us scream the loudest, out of both fear and joy. We have done our best to identify the upcoming movies all true horror heads need to have on their watch list. First movie in our horror selection, 28 years later, The Bone Temple. Strap in for the quickfire follow-up to a Danny Boyle threequel that left everyone's jaws on the floor with a final scene intro for Jack O'Connell's Jimmy Savile, alike cult leader Sir Jimmy Crystal. Boyle passes the torch to Candyman's Nia DaCosta, and it'll be fascinating to see how she handles that archness and discover what an American filmmaker brings to a franchise. This movie will be released on January 16, 2026. Second movie is one of the greatest horrors that is based on cool video game. It titled Return to Silent Hill. The knock on the Silent Hill movies is that they're visually impressive but narratively incoherent. Who knows if the third film will buck that trend, but there's obviously still an audience for them regardless. Adapting its story from the second edition of the video game on which the series is based, this sequel follows a man searching for a missed romantic connection in the titular town, only to find strange, disturbing phenomena afoot.
Ben?
Third horror movie in our list is Primate. We've had lions, sharks, wolves, alligators, and spiders. Now it's the turn of Chex Notes, the chimpanzee to turn into a human-hunting killing machine in this Hawaii-set monster movie. A group of teenage girls must find a way to survive when their previously lovable chimp turns savagely rabid and starts bumping them off one by one. An American horror thriller movie directed by Mark Klasfeld and titled Do Not Enter. Movie plot tells about group of explorers that investigate an old abandoned hotel, encountering a strange supernatural being and a competing group searching for a legendary hidden treasure.
Please, please.
Kill her.
The Strangers, Chapter 3. Rennie Harlin's horror trilogy has struggled to find an audience even among dedicated horror heads over its first two installments. It's probably too late in the day to turn the tide of indifference, but Harlin and co. will be hoping to go out strongly with a final splurge of bloody vengeance. Madeline Petch is back as the Scream Queen dealing with those masked killers. It will be released on February 6th.
God sent you here to kill me.
He was dead and buried, but now he's back from beyond the grave. Luc Besson has a new Dracula movie out this year, and it looks like it'll be upping the action on the mythical neckbiter. Otherworldly Netrum star Caleb Landry Jones plays the 15th century prince cursed with eternal life, while Christoph Waltz completes a Frankenstein and Dracula double as the priest sworn to bring down the toothy Transylvanian.
Are you kidding me?
An upcoming dark comedy movie, Cold Storage. Jurassic Park screenwriter David Koop adapts his own science fiction novel about a parasitic fungus that runs amok in a storage unit after escaping a military base. Joe Keery, who brings experience with military experiments gone wrong, and Sosie Bacon must avoid infection from the mind-controlling goop. Liam Neeson's bio-terror veteran brings growly expertise and some comic relief to this Twilight Zone scenario.
Is that a fart? No.
One of the most awaited and really scary movie, Whistle. Corin Hardy takes a leaf out of The Exorcist and Talk to Me's Book of Frights with an ancient artifact that brings ruin to a group of high schoolers who stumble upon it. In a devilish and Final Destination-y twist on the format, this one is a whistle that summons the future death of anyone who blows on it. Sophie Nélisse and Daphne Keane will be among those hoping it's not them. Slasher horror movie Psycho Killer. After years working in Hollywood, mostly as a producer and agent, Gavin Polone makes his big-screen directorial debut with a movie whose title does not mislead. When her husband is murdered, a Midwest cop doggedly tracks the killer, who turns out to be quite psycho indeed. It looks exceedingly long legs coated, but Malcolm McDowell is in the cast, and he can make anything creepy just by association. Maybe someone missed for movies about zombies. Here we have some movie for you. It titled, This Is Not a Test. An apocalyptic horror thriller movie from Adam McDonald follows Sloane and 4 other students who take shelter in their high school during a zombie outbreak.
Not this time.
7th installment in the Scream movie series. 90s slasher franchise is still screaming after all these years. How much juice could it possibly have left? Enough to draw back original star Neve Campbell, who returns in time to see her daughter stalked by a fresh Ghostface killer. Former series villains Matthew Lillard and Scott Foley are also in the cast, potentially taking on Hannibal Lecter roles, helping Sidney figure out how to find and stop the new murderer on the block.
The bride of Frankenstein.
Maggie Gyllenhaal trades Elena Ferrante for Mary Shelley in her sophomore directorial effort, a monster movie musical set in Al Capone's Chicago, based on James Whale's The Bride of Frankenstein from 1935. It seems more self-consciously campy than scary, and closer to Dick Tracy than Guillermo del Toro. But it looks like a wild ride worth taking, particularly with Jessie Buckley and Christian Bale, portraying something like an undead Bonnie and Clyde.
I'm not playing.
Okay.
Upcoming horror movie Ready or Not. Part 2, Here I Come. Samara Weaving's bride-to-be turned total badass in Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett's deliciously nasty wedding-sploitation film. But having laid waste to her psychotic in-laws, she's now forced into a Succession meets Squid Game scenario in which the world's wealthiest people must hunt her down or risk losing their fortunes. With Sarah Michelle Gellar, Elijah Wood, and David Cronenberg joining the fray, it should be gory fun. Blumhouse and Warner Brothers' new riff on the bandaged monster is both unconnected and likely to be a lot scarier and horror-forward than that 2017 misfire, especially with Evil Dead Rise's Lee Cronin behind the camera. Jack Rayner and Victoria's Laia Costa star. Hokum. Irish filmmaker Damien McCarthy broke through in 2024 with Oddity, a taut supernatural revenge story with a folk horror atmosphere. Now, he's landed a big-name star for his follow-up in Adam Scott, playing an author who travels to West Cork to spread his parents' ashes and finds himself ensconced in some eerie happenings. Obsession. A lonely record store clerk uses a wish-granting toy to make his crush fall in love with him, a gambit that ends up working a bit too well. Send Help. Sam Raimi's newest horror thriller pairs Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien as feuding co-workers who are the sole survivors of a plane crash and must survive together on a deserted island. Previews of the film, penned by Freddy vs. Jason, duo Mark Swift and Damian Shannon, look to be filled with twists and dark humor. Dolly. An absolutely glorious, grimy, scuzzy love letter to 70s horror. Couple Chase and Macy are on a hike together when they stumble upon creepy dolls in the woods. They find more and more, an unnerving altar by someone who is clearly obsessed with dolls. Then they bump into Dolly and all hell breaks loose. She wants to make Macy her living dolly, and it's an absolutely batshit roller coaster. A Canadian horror movie, Undertone. Ian Tuasen's Undertone is already being described as the year's scariest movie. This tale of audio terror follows a horror podcaster whose night unravels as she dives into increasingly unnerving recordings. No doubt, this will be Best 2026's A24 horror movie. An American action comedy horror movie starring Zazie Beetz, and title They Will Kill You. Kirill Sokolov's film follows a woman that answers a help-wanted ad to be a housekeeper in a mysterious New York City high-rise, not realizing she is entering a community that has seen a number of disappearances over the years. Gothic horror movie The Dreadful. Movie plot follows Anne and her mother-in-law Morwen, who live a solitary, harsh life on the outskirts of society. But when a man from their past returns, he will set off a sequence of events that become a turning point for Anne. American science fiction horror movie Iron Lung. Set in a post-apocalyptic future where an event known as the Quiet Rapture caused all known stars and habitable planets in the universe to disappear, a convict is sent to search an ocean of blood discovered on a desolate moon, using a small submarine nicknamed the Iron Lung. Thanks for watching our selection of top 22 most anticipated horror movies. We hope you enjoyed it. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and write us in the comments. what horror movie of 2026 you want to watch.